Okay, I've got the Venture all back together from the maintenance I've done to it over the winter. New tires, balanced, greased the wheel bearings, greased the rear suspension, greased the cush drive hub inside the rear wheel, changed the brake and clutch fluids. So now that it's ready to start for the first ride, tires are up, 36, 40. It's supposed to be 41, but that's close enough for me. I'm breaking in new tires. I put Kenda tires on this because they are made for heavyweight cruisers. And I like the way they ride on my truck and my wife's car. And they're not expensive. So it's time to start this up for the first time this year and take it out and burn the whiskers off of my new tires. So what do? If the gas petcock has been off all winter, there's gas in the tank. You want to leave gas in your tank, preferably filled all the way up, so that you have no airspace in the tank, because it will rust. The exposed metal in the tank will rust, especially if you're in a high humidity area. So, the gas in the tank is ethanol gasoline that has 10% ethanol in it. That's been in there for months. Ethanol and gasoline don't mix that well. They do mix, but they don't mix that well. The ethanol absorbs moisture right out of the air, right through the breather in the gas tank. And that ethanol, even if it doesn't absorb water, it still stratifies and goes to the bottom of your gas tank. Okay, what's wrong with that? The problem with that is when you go to start your bike for the first time in the year, valve's off. When I turn that, I will not turn it to reserve. I will turn it to run, because there's a little snorkel that sticks up about this far inside the gas tank, so you're drawing gas from here up. When you have it on reserve, you're using all the gas all the way down to the bottom where the dirt and water collect. You don't want that to be the first gas that gets to your carburetors on the very first start of the year. So what you want to do is shake the bike, put it in not gear, but hold the front brake on, sit on the bike and pump the handlebars. Get the bike to move around a lot so you can sort of mix that gas up to get the ethanol to mix with the gasoline. Okay. So when you start the bike, when you turn that valve to run, you're not getting just ethanol and mixed with water that is surely in there into the carburetors, because it's going to sputter and it may not even start. So shake the gas up. Now, to prevent a high concentration of ethanol from collecting in the bottom of your fuel tank, you can't do this on a Goldwing because they don't have petcocks. But on a bike with a petcock, you have 3 positions. Well, sometimes it's prime, which bypasses the vacuum diaphragm in there that turns the gas on. And when you shut the bike off, the vacuum diaphragm closes and shuts the gas off. Okay, but how do you start a bike that hasn't been started for a while? Then you have to turn it to prime, which bypasses that vacuum diaphragm. But these don't have that. These have the straightforward 3-position petcocks, and that is off, straight down is on, straight up is reserve. Get in the habit of locating, being able to locate with your eyes on the road while you're rolling, be able to reach down and find the petcock. Because if you're on the interstate, you're cruising along 70 mile an hour, your bike starts to sputter, you want to be able to reach down there and flip that lever up so that you are using the very bottom 2 inches of fuel in the fuel tank. All right, when you're riding during the season, you want to flip that reserve on you want to flip it up to reserve to use that gas that's got a high concentration of ethanol and even has water. The water will lay right in the bottom. You want to use that up. You don't want it to build up so that when you're cruising along 70 miles an hour and you flip that up to reserve, that your carburetors get a big dose of water, and next thing you know, your bike, you're pulled over on the interstate. So occasionally flip that up to reserve. I flip mine up to reserve every time I'm within a half a mile of a gas station. I will flip that up so that I get that junk out of the bottom of the gas tank. Then I always put it back to run, which is straight down, for my normal riding. So that's one thing you have to pay attention to now on your first startup. Shake the gas in the can, in the tank, to blend it back up, because right now it's stratified. And now that it's nice out, I'm ready to take this out for its shakedown test. I put electric grips on, heated grips. Want to try them out and just see what all needs to be done. I went over all my brake caliper connecting bolts just to make sure I didn't forget something. I checked the rear axle and the pinch on the axle, front and rear, to make sure that I didn't leave those loose. Anyway, I'm ready to roll. Be careful out there. Watch out for the deer.